Hello everyone, this is Scott Geider. My very special guest today is actor Randy Memoli. He was Victor in Gitchy. Head on, Randy.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Good, I'm glad to have you on here. We had a couple days signed to the interview, but it kind of backfired, but we are here now.
Yes, it's about time. Thank you.
No problem. As you know, I've got the copy of Gitchy. I watched it, reviewed it. I interviewed the director, Moneybags, and I also interviewed Gitchy himself, Greg Gale. Now, you're third in line. You play Victor, and if my memory serves me right, because I did watch like 80,000 movies since then, you played the character of the sister's boyfriend, correct?
Correct, yes.
And you're the one that she decided to tell you about her parents out in the porch, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Gitchy first, because you were in a couple other projects as well that I'm very interested in asking you about.
Okay.
And the listeners will be too, because basically what happens is, when we go through your resume, people do listen to the interviews and check out the movies that we talk about, and that's like one of those sources to get the movie bought or rented or however. All right. Now, Gitchy. Now, Thomas told me that a lot of you guys had no idea what the script was about. All you knew is you had to show up and be there, and most of you guys found out later on what the story's about. Am I correct?
That's correct, yes.
Now, I got to ask you a question.
Sure,
being that Greg Gale is a 6'5" gigantic human, what was your impression when you saw a huge clown like that? I mean, normal clowns aren't that big, but for his size.
Yeah. When I saw Greg, I saw Greg. I saw a 6'5", 300-pound person dressed up as a clown.
Right.
Because in the movie, he didn't look demonic at all. He didn't look scary. So he just looked like a normal clown.
Right.
In my eyes, but once you start filming and doing the movie and doing the scene, the creepiness starts coming out.
Yeah.
When he gets into character and then you're just okay, a little weird here. But then when you're doing the film, you get into it because he gets into it, and then you start getting creeped out. And but when you first see him, when I first saw Greg in the full clown outfit, I was laughing, I was giggling like a little kid, oh, it's a clown.
Right.
But then once we start filming and doing the movie, all of that just goes out the window, and it's legit. All right, this is scary. Especially when he talks. Especially when he was on top of me and killing me and just doing that whole thing.
Yeah, no. It's crazy. I mean, like I told him, like I told Thomas, this movie is almost safe for children because it's a horror movie, but it's a tickling clown horror. But, of course, at the end, he had a few choice F words, but a lot of kids, 3 or 4, they usually don't really catch on to what's being said. All they see is a clown. You know what I mean? So
right.
But the movie I thought was a big surprise for me. I mean, I'm a big clown horror guy, so I already watched 100 Tears, and of course there's a new one coming out in DVD probably this month, Clown Camp Massacre. So this is a different spin on clown horror, which I thought was really, really unique.
Yes.
And I mean, it had to have been an experience for you. I mean, let alone being a short film, so it's it's a little more compressed, where you can remember some more stuff. But it had to have been an experience to see that kind of display of a character in a movie like that.
Yeah.
Now, Michael J. Brown played your girlfriend's brother. Now,
yes.
I talked to Thomas about this as well. Is he really, really put himself in that role? I mean, he really buckled down and really made it look really real on how he felt about this clown. And I thought that was great acting by him.
Yeah, Michael did a really good job. Yes. I actually at first I did audition for the the brother, but I auditioned for both characters.
Right.
The brother and Victor, but I was more satisfied with the Victor character.
Yeah, considering that at first you thought it was a joke, if I remember correctly. And then all of a
What,
sudden,
the movie?
About the clown, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And then all of a sudden, there he appears. But yeah, Liz Walsh was great. I mean, the whole cast, including yourself, did a great job in this movie. You guys definitely had chemistry. You know, you definitely had it that was flowing pretty well. And of course, I heard the stories about the first showing of Gitchy. Thomas told me in Jersey. You know, and I won't go down that road again. But I'm sure you heard that story about the Jewish guy that I thought was really interesting. So now you also were, from what I've noticed, that you were in New York. What was that? The Today Show or something in New York, and
yeah.
And a camera came across the people, and there you were wearing your Gitchy shirt. I thought that was
yeah.
pretty cool.
Well, you know, I'm at a point in my career where like I have to do so much to put myself out there, because like I'm not big enough to have like all these people like, you know, helping me. You know, I don't have like agents and publicists and all these people putting me out there. So I got to go all out and do it whatever I can to get noticed.
Yeah.
So like I came across these 2 free tickets to Lady Gaga at the Today Show, and like I brought my girlfriend with me because she likes Lady Gaga, and I really couldn't find a replacement, so I had to go. And so I said to myself, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? Like, I'm going to wear my Gitchy shirt. Maybe I'll get noticed, or maybe like Lady Gaga will notice that she's a freak,
yeah.
And she likes freaky stuff. So like I did wear my shirt to the live show, and you know, at the very beginning of it, like, you know, the camera guy just came across, and there I was, you know, with the shirt. I'm putting my arms up, I'm screaming in the camera, and you know, thankfully somebody filmed it for us, and you know, I reviewed it and I looked at it, and like you saw me and my girlfriend very clearly, and you saw the Gitchy shirt clearly.
Yeah.
So what I did was I called Thomas, and I was like, Thomas, listen, you know, I went to the Today Show. I got caught on camera with the Gitchy shirt, very clear. You know, why don't we do something with that? So I pretty much gave Thomas the footage, and he edited it down and made like a little promo for Gitchy.
Oh, that's cool.
It did, you know, it came out pretty cool the way we filmed it. Like, you know, it shows like you know, all the hosts of the Today Show talking over the microphones. You see the whole crowd, and like there I was in the middle of it with the Gitchy shirt.
That's cool.
And then in the end, like we just made it as a promo. You know, put the trailer at the end of it, and you know, the whole like, yeah, buy Gitchy on DVD. So it was like 30 seconds, but it was like a really cool 30 seconds.
Well, see, I'm lucky because I'm in that family, because I got my Gitchy shirt as well. So
yes, that's cool.
Yep. Now, if you want, we can always come back to this if you got any more stories. But I like to.
Well,
go ahead.
Actually, you know, going back to what you said in the beginning, you know, I like discussing that only because when you're like, you know, at first we didn't know what the whole Gitchy was about.
Right.
You know, like when I first saw the sides of the movie, you know, it's basically, you know, it's about a supernatural clown that kills people.
Right.
So my whole thought was, this is sweet, this is cool. Look, you know, because like you were saying earlier that you're like into the whole like clown like movies and all that. I remember the night before the audition, for me to get like into the character or like into the mood, like I did watch Stephen King's It.
Okay.
You know, because I was all about clowns, and like, you know, this is cool. Most people don't like clowns, but I like the whole, you know, killer clowns from outer space. Or like,
I love that.
Yes, like I got into the whole clown mood where I'm like, all right, you know. So when I got to the audition and read the sides, like none of it was mentioned at the fact that Gitchy tickles. It wasn't in the script. We got our sides, so here we are acting out this whole movie where we don't even know what the killer does.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it wasn't until Thomas called me, and I will never forget it. Like, you know, I was driving my car. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm in the middle of Homedale, New Jersey, and there's really not much out there. So, like, I'm just driving down the street. It's dark. There's nothing around me. And then, like, that's when Thomas was discussing it over with me. And he was just like, you know, Randy, you know, basically the clown, what he does is tickles people to death. And like I got freaked out. Like it was just freaky how he said it, and then come to reality, like tickles you to death. So like it was kind of weird. And like, you know, when I told my girlfriend about it, she was weird about it because like I started doing the whole gitchy goo, and then she's like, "Stop!" It's freaking me out.
That's funny.
And but what's funny is about the whole gitchy thing is like if you tell somebody who's not into horror movies or like not into like weird, like crazy dark comedy, like they're not going to get it.
Nope.
Like they're just going to laugh. They're going to laugh at because it's very hard for me to like talk to people about Gitchy without them keeping a straight face. Like
Exactly.
they just laugh and they don't take it seriously.
Exactly. You know,
but some people like love it. Like, you know, like some people will be like, dude, I think that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
But like, you know, but when I do talk to people, like people want to make jokes. I'm like, yeah, Randy was in Gitchy. You know, like a killer clown that tickles. Like they make jokes, but like they don't realize how big Gitchy became. You know, between the media, between the festivals, like, you know, it's a really legit movie. And but like, you know, if you're not into like horror movies, you're really not going to get it.
Right.
You know, or if it's not playing this Friday in a theater near you, you know, no one's going to like really, you know, look it up and like really want to see it.
Well, see, I call them fly-by-night movie watchers. I mean, I don't mean that offended. I don't mean to be offended. I don't mean to be
you can offend whoever you want.
I don't mean to be ignorant like that, but see, when I see now on my part of having a podcast and reviewing movies or interviews, so my job is to help promote movies. And if I tell friends of mine, oh yeah, man, I saw a damn good movie last night. It's called Gitchy. He tickles people to death. He's a clown. And they look at me like, what? So, I mean, they don't quite get it, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. But, you know, like anything else, people have to see it first to understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie. I mean, I liked it. I mean, I watched it like 10 times already. I mean, it is a short film to begin with, so you actually can watch it more than once in a short period of time. But it is making big headlines on Facebook and other podcasts. So that would be an interesting movie if they would ever make it a feature. But Thomas is not really into that right now. I mean, I think it's best to don't touch something that's a gem right now. I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with it right now. You know? I
really wouldn't want it to go corporate either, because if somebody buys it, somebody picks it up, you know, they have total control of the movie, and like all of us that worked on it probably won't be able to be there for the remake or the stupid one that some director's going to pick up and remake it, and like we're all going to be screwed.
Yep.
I like it the way it is, you know. I remember like a year ago, somebody came up to me and they made a joke like, "Yeah, like Gitchy, like Brady was in Gitchy," or he made a comment about Gitchy, and it was actually the same exact night it was being premiered at the Phoenix Comic-Con, which I was kind of mad that I wasn't able to go to.
Right.
But like, you know, as soon as I told him, I'm like, "Yeah, it's being premiered right now in Phoenix." The dude shut up and didn't even say anything.
Yes.
He couldn't touch it. You couldn't make a joke about it because it's getting a lot of attention.
Right. You know what? And that's where you have to be patient and just wait. And the ones that make the stupid comments feel like idiots because maybe I was wrong. Maybe you weren't. You know. I get it. I mean, trust me. There's a lot of you do know that Gitchy also it brought out the tickling face people as well. I mean, that was Thomas was telling me that when he posted the trailer for Gitchy, he had instantaneous hits, and most of them were all the fetish on tickling. So he hit the tickling fetish, he hit the horror fetish, and he hit the clown freaks. Now, you know what I mean? So he hit all three, and I think that's why this is going to be so popular is because it has three genres, well, not genres, but three areas that's going to make it really, really big. Yes,
and I it's funny because I get hit up with a lot of emails from people that seen the movie.
Uh-huh.
So I never know if like they're horror fans, my fans, or just the tickling freaks.
I know.
I called Thomas not too long ago where I'm like, "Thomas, what the hell did you get me into?" He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I'm getting all these weird emails from people saying they want to tickle me. Like, I'm afraid I might get kidnapped one day. Like, I bring it up, but then my girlfriend actually brought it up to me. She's like, because I'll put it out there. I don't care. The Rex Ryan, the coach of the New York Jets, him and his wife have this foot fetish thing.
Oh.
So like in my head, I'm like, I wonder if Rex Ryan has seen the movie.
Oh,
because they had that whole tickling scandal where like he was filming his wife's feet and like it was on YouTube. And I'm like, I wonder if he ever came across Gitchy.
I bet he did. I bet he did.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, like him being like, damn, man, I wish I was Gitchy.
Oh, my
I fit the character.
Oh, my God. Imagine that.
Yeah. That would have been cool. Maybe if I go to the Jets game this year, maybe I'll wear a Gitchy shirt. Maybe he'll notice it.
Yeah. And maybe
we can make another promo where, like, Raven Memoli, who played Victor and Gitchy, was caught seen at the New York Jets game.
Yeah. That's great.
But I'm hoping to cross the barrier where like people will just notice me without the shirt. That's just like that's the point of my career I want to get to, where people will just like notice me without me like going all out trying to get people to notice me.
Right.
But that's the career we're in. We need patience and it takes time, and if it works out for me, it works out for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing this for the fame and fortune. I'm just doing it for the fun of it, because I love acting, and especially being on the set of Gitchy, it was just so much fun. Like, we all had a good time, especially the whole like tickling and killing me, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite films that I've watched this year. I mean, I have like 10 of them so far, but it made the list. Now, there's one that's a short film, another short that you were in, and I'm going to look for it. It's called Bloody Mary. You played Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. That was directed by David Simbel. It was a short film. He was a Montclair student, but that was a fun movie I did too. It took a day to shoot. And like I said, I'm all into the whole horror genre.
Yep.
So like, if I'm offered a role in a horror movie, like, I don't hesitate. I take it. But of course, like, I have to look at the script and see, like, where it's going to go and what I have to do. And so it was all good, and I had a lot of fun filming that. And it's basically about like that whole story with Bloody Mary, the whole witch story, and it was fun. That actually got accepted into the New York Short Film Festival.
Nice.
That got accepted into a festival up in New York. Where am I going to go with Bloody Mary? It was cool because a lot of the stuff in the film, like, I was able to improvise, because, like, that's kind of like what I like doing sometimes, because I really get into a character when I'm able to improvise.
Right.
Like the one scene in Bloody Mary, like towards the end of the movie, like when I die. Of course, it's another horror movie where I die. It was me locked in this room where I couldn't get out, and then out of nowhere, like, I start throwing myself into the wall, back and forth, falling on the ground, being raised up in the air. Like, that wasn't even in the script. Like, I just came up with that. I'm like, because I just like being creative, and especially in a horror movie, like, you got to make it real scary and suspenseful.
Right.
So originally, I was supposed to just get locked in there and then just get killed. So, like, I was kind of like, what can I do? Like, in between takes, I was like, what can I do to make this look good? So I told the DP, the camera guy who was filming, I was like, yo, check this out. I got an idea. Just follow me. I had to tell him ahead of time, just follow me where I go. And, like, that's when I just started, like, being tossed across this whole room, like, falling on the ground, raising myself back up. Because, if it's dealing with, like, a witch, or, like, something supernatural, you got to, like, throw yourself across the room.
Right.
It was kind of like in A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, when Tina died, she was in the room being tossed up on the ceiling, but you couldn't see anybody.
Right. That's true.
But that shit scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. You know, that freaked me out. A Nightmare on Elm Street still freaks me out. So like, I wanted to be a part of that. And like I said, I like having fun on a movie set. So I just tossed myself all around, and yeah, it was pretty funny. A lot of people liked Bloody Mary. You know, I liked, like, once again, I worked with a lot of great people. You know, the crew was awesome. I actually got my girlfriend involved in it, and she did a lot of the makeup on my face when I got cut up and killed. And you know, everybody, it was just another good movie set I was on, and everybody had a good time, and that's always the important thing.
Well, one thing that I find interesting with your career is the short films. Now, you might want to be in feature films. I understand that, but
yes.
But there is a lot of short films that people can dig into because, number one, they're short films, and a lot of people, I mean, all depends on the moment, don't want to sit for an hour and a half to watch a film. But this next one here, it's not really a horror, it's more like a drama mystery thriller, but I'm kind of anxious to look for it. A Bullet for Your Thoughts.
Yes.
You played Gibbons. Now, do you want to give the listeners an idea exactly what, I mean, not exactly, it is a short film, you don't want to give it all away, but like what your role was and what it was like.
Well, the character of Gibbons was, what was cool about the whole thing was I remember the director, James Newman, he emailed me, and he was kind of like, because he lives in Long Island, I live in Middletown, New Jersey, which is about a 2-hour drive. And so like so I always hesitate like doing films, especially far away. And because it just takes up way too much of my time, and especially it's hard working on independence. But James Newman like hit me up with an email, and he was kind of like, you know, well, this is what I kind of want you to do. I want you to just call. I want you to leave a voicemail, but I want you to be the character of this guy who has like a short temper. You know, he's calm, and then he becomes crazy. So it was awesome because I didn't have to go drive or go to New York for an audition. Like, I did it over the phone.
Oh,
and
wow.
I improvised. That was the whole point. Like, he was just like, pretend I'm this character who got your brother involved with, because it was just one of those like Reservoir Dog type movies. It was, you know, we're not like really a mafia. We're just like a crew of like criminals, you know, that, you know, rob and steal and kill people.
Right.
So I called him up. I called him up and left a voicemail, and I went. Like, I went berserk on it. Like, he has a copy of the voicemail, and I want to try to get a copy of it. Where I'm like, you know, yeah, you know, I didn't like what you did the other day, so I'm like, you know, I need to know where you are. And then I just go crazy over the phone. Like, I just went crazy, and I just started improvising, and then I was like honking my horn because I was driving when I was doing it. I'm like screaming at people. I'm screaming at people next to me, and I was like, "Yeah, where was I?" And then I remember, like, I checked my phone like an hour later because I had to be somewhere. And the guy James called me up, and he was like, "You know, Randy, I was blown away by your performance. I really want to give you this part." So like, I got the role, and outside of horror movies, you know, I would love to get into like crime drama movies, like movies. Like in that genre, and
right.
I was all about being the bad guy, you know, being like that crazy bad guy, and but like I tried getting out of it because we had a discussion. I'm like, you know what, if you want to hire somebody local, you know, I want you to give that local guy a job because I'm driving far. I'll be, you know, commuting very far,
right?
And so I wound up. He gave me the part, and, you know, the first night of shooting, you know, it took me 4 hours to get there because I got stuck on the Long Island Expressway.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just frustrating for me because, like, I was like, you know, I don't want to be doing this anymore. I don't want to be freaking driving hours just to, like, work on a movie, you know. I want to get, like, the other treatment. But, like, once again, like, that was just a great experience, you know, just being, like, that character, you know, not being that, like, just being that badass dude that just doesn't take shit. And like, I kind of had the inspiration I kind of used in that character was kind of like the Dennis Leary's character from the movie Judgment Night.
Yeah, yeah.
He was just like that Irish-looking guy who's in the middle of the hood, just just everybody was scared of him, and that was the character that inspired me to just really go with this Gibbons character, and like we did really awesome with that. Like my co-stars, the dude Justin and Ryan Doyle, they were awesome. Like we had such a good time. I was able to come up with my own fighting. Because in the scene, I had to beat up the dude Ryan Doyle, who plays Jacoby. So I had to just choreograph my own fighting, and it was just another one of those movies where I was able to improvise and just do my thing, and but yeah, it came out really good. A lot of people liked it, and we're just hoping. What it did for me was it made me look like a real actor. I guess probably because I'm sitting there with my hair long and
right.
with a tie, and I just look very mature. The feedback I got it from friends and just people outside of my circle were you actually look like a real actor. You look really good, especially the trailer we made for it, and then we finally just put it online, and a lot of people saw it, and people really digged it.
Cool. Well, there is one more movie I want to talk to you about, and I think this is your first movie and first full-length movie? Am I taking it? Only Go There at Night, Darkness Rising in 2009?
Yes, that was actually my second full-length movie.
Okay.
But yeah, that was one of my favorite movies, especially the whole time period of it being filmed. That was one of my favorite movies, yes. Only Go There at Night. It was actually a sequel to a first one called Only Go There at Night. It's basically based around the whole Weird New Jersey, the magazine, and about the different places in New Jersey that are supposedly haunted.
Yeah.
And so I had to audition for the character from the first movie, Jake Matthews was the character from the first movie that he winds up dying in the end of it. So I play the brother who comes back to avenge his death, and which is fine by me. For me growing up watching all movies, I'm down with that.
Right.
And so I went to the audition, and I was in that mode where I guess I saw the character description where I had to play a military type, and so I went to the audition wearing my wearing green. I have this green winter jacket, and I was just being in character the whole time. I was sitting in the corner, not talking to anybody. And I came in the audition with weapons because in the scene I had to use weapons.
Right.
So I did the audition, and I wound up getting the part 2 days later, and I'm hoping my acting skills won me the role, but I think it's because I have a resemblance to the character from the first movie. And
yeah.
No, but I'm not complaining. I'll take that role and I'll just run with it. It just worked out perfectly for me. I remember getting to the audition, and there was this guy there, and he was like, "Oh man, you look like the character's brother from the first movie." And I never even seen the first movie. I never even seen clips of it.
Right.
And when I went home, I was like, "Oh wow, I actually do look like him." And so that movie was a lot of fun. It was filmed all over New Jersey, and it was cool because I wasn't playing me. Normally I'm the type of guy that's very energetic and running my mouth and just having a lot of good time. So I had to play that character who was based who I'm all about the military. I'm in the army. I'm in the army, and here I am just not liking anybody because I want to know who killed my brother. So I had to get really, really into the character to sell it. Where I'm just you don't want to fuck with me.
Right.
And,
there is an actor that you're with that I think he's a damn good actor, and that's Edward X. Young. He played the preacher.
Yeah, Edward. Yeah, he was fun. I like Edward. He reminds me so much of a very independent independent movie type. He reminds me of like a Tom Savini and a Lloyd Kaufman, just by who he is and what he does.
Yep.
And yeah, he was a lot of fun. Like he was there in some of the film shoots, and like he was coming up with all these ideas of like all his types of special effects, and I was all about it. I'm like, yeah, you can chop my head off. You're like, yeah, you could blow up my bag. Like I'm all about just like going all out, doing stuff like that. And Edward was a lot of fun. I wasn't there for his filming, but like he was on set a lot.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Edward actually he is awesome, and I do follow him online, and he's always working on some new project, which is pretty much awesome.
As a matter of, yep, I know what movie that was too, but I just realized that one of your cast members from Gitchy is in there with you as well. Now, Liz Walsh. Now, did you happen to catch her when you were there when you were filming, or was she a separate day?
Which movie? Only Go There at Night?
Yeah, Liz Walsh.
She wasn't there when I was there, which is fine by me because me and Liz Walsh, like we worked on many movies together. Like I did a short film with her, In the Morning Sun. She played my mother. I was in a movie called Last Day's Assignment, a full-length movie where she was playing my this mother that I was after. Then she was in Gitchy, and then she was in Only Go There at Night. And the funny part about Liz Walsh is, when I first met her, we found out we had the same acting teacher, who was John Ide from Actors Training Institute, who taught me everything I know, and I owe so much to him. And yeah, so me and Liz, like we worked on a lot of movies together. So
That's
like
cool.
I think it's awesome. Like I wasn't mad that I didn't see her during the Only Go There at Night, because I see her so much, and like she's an incredible actress, and she could pull off a Mrs. Voorhees from Friday the 13th.
She could.
Yeah.
I bet she could.
Yeah, but like the Only Go There at Night was another one of my better movies, because I did have a big role in it. Like I was able to like show off like my fighting styles, where like I was able to have a big fight at the end of the movie with the villain of the movie, and I was carrying around guns and just being like that character that just stands out, that everybody loves. And when I was at the premiere of it, like I was like signing autographs to like little kids because they were loving my character, because here I was like this crazy guy with like nunchucks and knives and guns and brass knuckles, and half the weapons were mine.
Right.
Just not the guns. And I actually did get a media attention from that movie as well. I was actually in an article in Backstage newspaper, which is the nationwide like actors resource for all castings.
Okay.
For everything in the business. And here I was. I had an article in one of the newspapers like a year and a half ago. I actually shared the same newspaper as Christopher Pine, because Christopher Pine was like he was the cover of the newspaper, and he had the top article in the magazine. But in my head, I was like, I wonder if Chris Pine was so curious that he bought that paper for himself, read it, and went through it, and came across me in it. Because
Yeah.
I did have a big article in it, and the one thing that stands out was just like, Randy Memoli was a class clown, no future, no nothing, but he's overcoming all of that and turning into the acting business.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, I do want to thank you for coming on. You're a very interesting and energetic guy, as I can tell.
Oh, yeah.
This is Phil Nichols, and I play the character of Renfield in Renfield the Undead. Hello, Donald.